Today we record a podcast with Sony Music. They are one of our clients for implementing new collaboration tools. If you want to start doing that stuff, you need to start with yourself. That's how everything starts. People tend to think in too big projects, pictures and industries. It starts with tiny little things, and I give you some examples. So we have a full content morning here. I'm here with Patrick. He's the CEO of Sony Music. You have a tremendous career with all the different experiences you can have. You're the guy who built Music Load for Deutsche Telekom. You've been with Napster, Apple Music. You've seen many things. And we were talking about in the podcast about transformation, how difficult it is, and especially as a leader that you have to turn yourself, but everyone within the company is responsible to also walk the way.
Right.
And you painted that picture with different examples because you're in an industry where you had to transform all the time. So what's the experience you can share? Because it was quite bold and it's an important message.
Okay, that's too much of a compliment, I think. But I think one metaphor I like to use is that when people ask me, what about how do you kind of envision change and how do you explain it to the guys working with you? So I think that there are few aspects which are absolutely fundamental. One is teamwork and communication. Stuff we were talking about earlier today.
That's what we're working on.
Then
tool-wise.
Yeah. Then speed.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, I think aside from a collaborative effort, I think that it's important to understand that you will not be in the situation where you work on a plan and then you can use the plan for the next 20 years. So constant change. So the metaphor I'm using for the first things I just mentioned is think of a sprint race, a relay sprint race. So basically because that kind of includes speed, so you need to be quick.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be coordinated with your colleague, with the guy who gives you, the stick. You look to where you want to go. You have your competitors on the left and on the right, so there's some competitive aspect as well. And and you need to constantly move to get there. That's a good metaphor to explain how I see this working within a company. If we would still, neglect the fact that we have multiple entry points, but we still concentrate on 2 or 3, we would, go down.
That's exactly the point where you got me, because we have many projects, many clients who want to change, and I can feel it since I was here this morning that when I said, what we're doing here, what we are changing, and you said, yes, I know. And I know what impact it can have. So I can see that, and that fascinates me since it's an industry where many people from the outside say, difficult because there's so much change happening. And it feels like that you're a sports guy saying, it's a long race, but I know what we're capable of. I don't know if we win. I don't know if we make it, but...
Of course, I don't know if we'll win, but I know that, that's the direction I want to go, and in the change, and to be perfectly clear on that, me as a single person, I can't do the change on my own and by myself. That's not possible. I need, good colleagues around me to go that way with me, to come with me on that way. What I can tell you is that I want to go in that direction, and that I will certainly not accept a kind of a still stand. Particularly in Germany, we've been granted a little bit more time to adjust because we've seen for a longer period of time a healthy physical market, but this has now changed. And I was never a fan of that notion that we'd be on Fantasy Island and that the physical market would persist and would still be with that importance for many years to come. I always said, while I was on the other side of the table as well, I said, dear colleague from record label ABC, we've just been given a little bit more time. This is nothing bad. It's great. It's great because it gives us the opportunity as a record label to reshape ourselves and to think, you know, all our activities under the headline, which would be, what can we do for the artists? And we can do much more than, you know, give the artist some money and distribute his music and, you know, do a little promotion. We can do much more than that. And the new situation gives us the opportunity to do so.
We had a full day of content, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow our story here with you guys as well. I share the podcast as well. It's in German, but if you listen in German, it's definitely worth it. I can say that. There's much behind that story. Thanks for watching, and we see you guys next week. Before you leave, there's a video for you to watch as a recommendation by YouTube. Here you can subscribe. Make sure you subscribe because we publish minimum 2 videos a week about new workspace, new work, the tools that you need behind that, and all the stuff behind digital transformation. I would be thrilled if you subscribe here.